Hello guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel here. I am currently monitoring these frame drops that are hovering right at 15%. If we get into that 15% range, we might have to delay the stream and try again this evening. Maybe we capped out the internet when we did that 6-hour stream from Honolulu to LA. Let's see here. Let me see what's happening. I'm trying to make sure there's nothing else running in the background. What is going on, though, guys? Mike Plays in the house. Captain Tom. Miss Jungles. Anthony Anderson. Frank B. 1982. Good to see you, man. Flight Simmer. Anthony Anderson. Watching from jury duty, huh? That's interesting. Flying Guitarist. What's going on, man? Good to see you here as well. I'm just kind of monitoring, seeing what's happening here. I'd hate to get this stream started and then just have it all fall apart on me. I think it might be these CFM LEAP engines that we're running here, causing the internet to be unhappy. Commander Gene Hoffman, what's going on, man? Today is a very exciting day. The 321 NEO is officially out. I hope you guys are flying around in your NEO. Was hoping we'd get to fly a little bit of Vatsim here together. Screw it. I'm going to continue on. If it becomes unwatchable, if it's really starting... Well, I can see it jittering. What do you guys say? Should we continue? Or should we reschedule for this evening? It seems to be holding there. We're in that 15.5% drop frames now. I don't know what could be causing it. Could just be the time of day. Anyway, let's see what we got going on over here. I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit. Man, I was really hoping to get this flight going. Look at these CFM LEAPs. They are pretty juicy looking, if I must say so myself, even though I'm a huge Pratt & Whitney fan. Yeah, I don't know. I can see these stutters happening. Yeah, I can see the replay. All right, guys, I tell you what. I think I'm going to have to reschedule this, unfortunately, for this evening. I don't know if I can press on. Fubar said press on. Reschedule with Pratt, says Captain Tom. Man, it's hovering right at my limit where I want to cut it off. Seems okay at the moment. What the heck? Let's just get it going. Let's see if we can get this bird airborne. What's going on, guys? Yes, we are in the LEAP NEO Cold and Dark 321. Let's get the airplane fired up here. 27.9. Remember, we talked about our minimum voltages for our Airbus 25.6 or greater. 25.5, we do have to do an external charge. That shouldn't be a problem there. We got that. Sounds are on. Sounds are up. Let me make sure all my sounds are looking good. I'm going to also go here, sound add-ons. Yes, make sure we have everything juicy. All right. This livery, guys. Oops, wrong one. This livery that I'm rocking is from 19 Adam. I have another fantastic livery. It's you do exclamation point livery if Nightbot ever decides to join the channel, which it has. Nightbot has joined the channel. So if you do exclamation point livery, there's a link to his livery for this airplane. Very nicely done. The American 321 CFM LEAP NEO. Made after a real A321, obviously. He does nothing but realistic work, pretty much, and it's absolutely fantastic. So, shout out to him. Let's get these screens brightened up here. And if you are downloading delivery, I will just do a quick thing here so you guys don't get confused. If you do the aircraft configuration, it is a single over wing exit right here. So you have the L and R 3-door with a single over wing, and I believe that one is actually plugged. So you've got very similar to the one we rocked with the Hawaiian, except you're missing that L2 door, that full-size one up here in front of the wing. But this is the configuration you need if you want to rock this livery, or else it will not work, of course. And we also, of course, put our faults up back to that 100 range there. Hopefully we don't have any faults today, but you know, it is the Toliss, and it likes to keep us on our toes. So let's get the rest of our screens brightened up here. Mr. Speed said looks okay for you. All right, man. There's going to probably be some jumps in the audio, But we'll just try to, we'll press on. We'll press on. It's too exciting. And I see a lot of guys on Vatsim there joining the flight. That's awesome. So glad to have you guys on board for the flight up to LaGuardia. Actually, I guess it's kind of straight across to LaGuardia. Let's get our charts out here. O'Hare, LaGuardia. And what do we need for fuel? So I'm loading. I used a SimBrief saved airframe. If I pinned it, somebody posted it in the useful links only in the Discord. And this one is a ACT 321 NEO. So I'm using that profile to give us proper fuel burns, at least I think, for this NEO airplane. So we're going to do gate fuel here of 11.8. Man, that seems so low, but we got an 11.8. As far as passengers go, we're going to take about 177. We don't need 8,000 pounds in the rear. Kind of center up that CG a little bit, slightly forward there. I like to keep those close to the middle as possible. We don't need 6,000 pounds of cargo. Geez, how about 4,000? That's a ton anyway. Zero fuel weight, 152.3, 28.5. That looks good. We'll apply those load settings right there. Oh my gosh, what is going on here? Get off there. I gotta move this sucker over here. Ryan Breaker says, if you don't mind, I've been wondering why you prefer X-Plane and the Toliss over the P3D and FS Labs. It's not that I mean, I prefer X-Plane over P3D just because I didn't go down that rabbit hole. Now, I have slightly dabbled with P3D in the FS Labs, and we're going to be back in that airplane for our Back to Work stream here probably next. I wanted to do it today, but then the NEO was out, so I was going to do NEO, and then I had other plans for this week, and then those got shifted around, so I had so much content I wanted to push out this week. I just don't know if I'm going to get to it all. But we are going to be back in the FS Labs for our Back to Work stream. We're going to be doing anti-ice and de-icing procedures in all of that. So let's go ahead and initialize this. It's just, I mean, you know, when I switched from FSX, I didn't go to P3D. I thought it was just a lipstick on a pig, essentially. And X-Plane is definitely more user-friendly and easy to manipulate than P3D. But you do lack some really complex airliners over there, for sure. So let's KORD to KLGA, La Garbage. We are American 133. Cost index of 75. Cruise flight level 370. And we'll confirm the alignment. What do we have for a flight plan? Departure. I don't know what we're going to be departing off of here, but I believe I'm just going to put 22 left in the box. Let's see. KORD. Is there going to be 22 left? Benny says I had the same issue if you're in the Chicago because there's a runway added and Chicago doesn't have it yet. The sim will lag if you have the Nimbus. Yeah, I do have the Nimbus, and it definitely does lag for sure, man. I had to turn off X Enviro here in the Nimbus Chicago. Airport info. I just want to confirm it is 22 left that I'm thinking of. Yes, it is. 22 left. And what do we have? 360 at 5, yeah, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we're gonna plan 22 left. We are gonna use our fixed info rings today. 22 left. We could in the real airplane select the O'Hare departure, but it's just a vector departure, so there's really nothing you need to worry about. All right, so after the departure, it's going to be direct to mobile. Mike Oscar Bravo Lima Echo. To a dime, A-D-I-M-E. Man, I can't tell you how many times I've flown this route, guys. Mobile, a dime, Gerbs. Bringing me back. Mobile, a dime, Gerbs, J146 to the MIP, or to Keating, and then the MIP4. So, J146 to Keating, Echo, Tango, Golf. Derek Hansen, what's going on, man? Thank you for the DKKs. I'd be lying if I said I knew what those were. Thank you, man, for 35 of them. He's got the little cup of coffee sticker. I appreciate that, Henrik Hansen. Thank you so much, man. Definitely going to use that. You know, it's unfortunate. Right before I got up here to stream, I had fixed myself a cup of coffee, and there was only a little bit left, so it was like a little less than half a cup, and I left it downstairs, and then my wife decided to throw it out. So I'm going to need, we're going to just load, I don't know what we're going to do. Should we load the RNAV? 3-1. I don't know what we're going to do in LaGuardia. Let's load the RNAV 3-1 Yankee. Well, it might end up, I have no idea what we're going to do when we get over there. We haven't looked at the weather yet, but we got time. NIP 4 via... no via. Keating transition. And then we'll look at it when we get a little bit closer, but I think that'll work. Let's see. Yeah, I want to kind of do the Expressway visual if we have a chance, but that seems to be all right. Carter says, I managed to get my engines in and replaced default and can still switch between two pretty easy. Had to change some particle issues. Still looking at fixes. Carter, that's awesome, man. I look forward to seeing those rocking as well. All right, for a secondary, we'll initialize a quick secondary, O'Hare to O'Hare. And secondary one again, secondary arrival. If we blow an engine, we got to come back around. I'm not landing 2-2 left, it's a little bit short. We'll put it on 2-8 center. And again, perf last time, perf approach. No idea what the altimeter is. Let's get it out of the sim here. Look at all the traffic up here in O'Hare. Look at all these Americans. All right, what do we got? 3000. Temperature, what's E4? Really? It's that warm? It's freezing in Texas today, man. It is, it was supposed to be snowing right now. 040 with a 200 DH. Just because I don't want to look up the approach back around. All right, so this is where it is going to get a little interesting. We are going to do a RadNav thing here. So we're going to go charts. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to go airports, O'Hare, and I got to go to the departure procedure, and it's the O'Hare 6 now. They change it all the time. So we are going to load up some fix info information here. So I'm going to go flight plan, O'Hare, fix info. GCO is the fix that we're going to be using. We got two fix ranges that we need to cross, one at 3, one at 4, 5.5 and 8.5 DME. So I'm going to do 5. I don't think it'll do 5. I don't think it does decimals. That's right. So we're just going to, we'll be extra conservative. We're going to put 5. And then we're going to make another fix info, GCO. You could see that I already created one fix ring there at 5, that blue circle, and we're going to create one more at 8. So now we have a visual depiction of our departure procedure. So you got a restriction, 5.5 at 3, 8.5 at 4. Going off 2-2 left, it can get a little bit tight there if you're super heavy. Going southbound, and our vector, which essentially is going to be a self vector out to mobile, which is up here. So that looks good. Our fix info is in the page. Nothing to hard tune. Actually, you know what? I will hard tune GCO just as additional guidance. Progress page, KORD. Not exactly sure what runway we're going to take off yet, so we're just going to leave that. Leave it to the perf page. Actually, we skipped the init B. What do we got for init B? So here we go, flaps 1. We're going to do full Toga with these leaps. I want to see what these leaps are doing. What do we have? 152.3 and a 28.5. So 152.3 and 28.5 on the CG. A lot of work here in the box. I should just start loading these in manually. Block fuel on board, we have 11.8. Let's see what it gives us for extra time. That doesn't seem like enough gas. Ryan says, I live near O'Hare. Weather is nice currently. Awesome. Well, then maybe it is a nice day there. Yeah, I don't think that's enough gas. 1 minute extra? Final time 30? Seriously? 1 minute extra gas. 2 minutes extra gas. Let's just bump it up to 12.2. How about that? Give ourselves just a little bit. Since I don't trust these leaps, we'll do 12.2. Oh, good. A little 10 minutes. At least gives me some warm and fuzzies. And oh, we need the V-speeds as well. We got Toga thrust with the flaps 1, 44, 44, 49. No flex in flight sim. 144, 144, 149. Transition altitude 18,000. And what is our trim going to be? 0.2 down, so pretty much nil. All right. Let's get the airplane ready to go here. We are fueled up. Fuel pumps can come on. Start that. Turn those on. Ground control push button is on. Quick fire test. 1, 2, and 3. Greg Hill says it sure is V1 Burr. Yeah, I mean, it is freezing in Texas, man. It is absolutely freezing here. I wanted to do that. Oops, wrong one. I wanted to do the anti-ice de-ice stream today just because of the snow, but I couldn't bring myself to do it with the NEO being released. We'll hear the APU spool up. Get rid of these guys. I don't think they're going to drive away. I think they're just locked in on this. We'll hide them. Spool it up. Let's get ready to get out of here. Google McTavish, welcome to the stream, man. Good to see you on board, brother. Alexander says the 350 1000 or 777-300 ER and Y. Dude, 350 every day and twice on Sunday. Love the Toliss A321 NEO. Just did my first flight with it. Alexander, that's awesome, man. I would take the 350 just because I'm partial to Airbus, and I honestly think the 777 is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. The 777 is a beautiful looking airplane, especially the long 300. But I think the 350, honestly, in my opinion, looks better than the 777. The 777, it almost just looks like a really stretched 7.6, and they're kind of all the same. Now, I think the 787 is probably cooler looking than the triple. I'm not a huge fan of the way the 777 looks. It just looks like a giant 767. But the 350, once you see one in person, I've been up close and personal with the 350. It honestly is a true work of art. I definitely prefer the Pratt & Whitneys. You prefer the look of the Leaps, Jack? You know, from this angle, they're not bad. And honestly, I think they all look cool. Here's my thing, though. The reason I prefer the Pratts, honestly, when you do a pre-flight, if you walk around an airplane between CFM and Pratts, the CFM is just a little bit bigger, and you got a little bit more blades in there. And it's just, I mean, come on. You want to have the biggest engines on the block, right? So that's really it. I mean, the CFMs are a great motor. There's really nothing wrong with them. Let's get APU bleed on. Let's turn you off. We're going to have no ATC, so we're going to take it all the way up to our cruise altitude, 370. Constraints on, 000 in the box. I know I got to turn these screens on. You guys don't like seeing those dark over there. No FOs in night mode. 22.8 is a Unicom. Squawking 2000, turning that on for Vatsim purposes. We'll put it in above mode since we're taking off. And everything is aligned. I think we're ready to go. We're due out of here at 45, so 10 minutes. We are ready to push. Let's call the truck and get ready to get out of here.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go.
I want to go straight back, beam, battle the 319.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, O'Hare 20-9. We're going to be coming out of the Hotel Alley. Going to be going to 22 left via Alpha 14 Bravo November full length. And we are pushing off gate Gulf 7, I believe. O'Hare traffic, American 133. We're going to be pushing here off Gulf 7 in the Hotel Alley. We'll eventually taxi 22 left full length via Alpha 14 Bravo November. Carter says, yeah, but you get that cool bump on the side. Carter, so that's the thing. That bump is freaking cool. I'm not going to lie. Seeing that bump on the side of the motor is definitely a little cool. That gearbox selection, that gearbox spot.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready
Michael
to connect.
Bucci, where can you find the sim brief profiles for 321 NEO? So if you're in my Discord, I pinned the Discord message in the Airbus terminal, I believe. No, I'm sorry, it's not in the Airbus terminal. It's in Useful Links Only. Useful Links Only has a ton of profiles for the 321 NEO. O'Hare I love since it's my home airport. Oh yeah. It's a good airport. I like flying in there, man. I like checking out all the heavies. You fly out of executive, though, in flight school? There you go. Wilson loved Boeing or Airbus. Come on, man. You got to know the answer to that.
SO connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking
Alright,
brake.
hold on, I gotta do my checklist. Before start, checklist, maintenance log and tail number is on board and checked. Cockpit prep complete, gear pins and covers removed. Signs, on and auto, aiders, we are nav and fuel. 11.8 required, 12.1 on board. Altimeters 3000 set, EFB check, windows, doors, and slides, closing arm. Beacon is on, thrust levers, idle, parking brake is off. Transponder, 4-star checklist complete.
Air traffic, American
And you may start engine.
2033, taxi to runway 10 left via Alpha 15 November and Zulu full left, O'Hare.
That was loud. I turned that down. Hopefully that'll get better. Man, my drop frames are killing me right now. Yes, I got the standard sounds on here right now. There isn't any dump fuel. Yeah, you can't dump fuel in a 321 or any other narrow bodies, as far as I know. Maybe as far as I know, I don't think you can dump fuel on them. I was thinking maybe an 18, but I don't think you can do that even. Is that an Embraer? No, that's an Airbus. Looked almost like an Embraer there for a second. I think we have a slightly more high def model than that gentleman right there. Good old Vatsim. Bluebell CSL. Oh, see, now I can barely hear that guy. I can barely hear that guy. Alright, once we set the brake, we'll start the motor. No dual cooling, so it's not as cool as the Pratt's. It's actually a pretty archaic way of cooling the engines here. We got 40 PSI. I want to set the brake so I can just watch the engine start procedure.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Brake is set. Go to disconnect.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Hey V1, love your amazing videos and streams. Sorry that isn't much, but I love your streams. Keep up the amazing work. Aviation Master, thank you so much for the $1 donation, man. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm glad you're enjoying the streams, my friend. Welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed this one up to Guardia. Hopefully the internet will start to behave at some point. I know you guys are getting some skipping audio there, but Christian, that's you in the NEO? Awesome stuff, man. Alright, that's kind of cool. That is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Alright, man, thanks for a smooth push. We'll see you next time. Let's go ahead and fire up engine 2 from the outside as well and listen to that. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds a little juicy. I love my Pratts, but damn, that sounds pretty cool, huh? That sounds pretty cool.
Donation.
Min coming in with another donation. Thank you very much. $2 bomb. He says, so I'm about to do my type rating for the 320 next month. Awesome, man. I'm thinking about getting the Flight Factor 300 Toliss 321 to practice at home with procedures. What would you recommend between those three? I can only afford one. Thanks a lot. Man, so in all honesty, man, if your type rate is in a 320 simulator, I think you should get a 320 just because there's quirks of the 319 and 321 that Toliss does have implemented, which they fly correctly. But I think if your type ride is in a 320, you should stick with the 320. Also, if you really want to, if it's up your alley, I don't know if you have P3D, but check out the 320 for P3D, because I would definitely recommend the 320 for P3D as well. Alright, we got a good start on 2. That comes up, that comes up. We're doing a flaps 1 departure, get those slats out there. Another guy pushing off, that's awesome. Wow, he's a much more HD model than the other guy. Thank you, Min, for your donation, man. But that's what I would suggest. If it isn't a 320, I think you should get the 320 solely because you want to be training in the same exact airplane that you're going to be doing your ride in. All right, so that's all good. That's all good. Light can come on. Brakes can come off. I don't think there's any cool breakaway sounds, though. Pratt & Whitney's got way better breakaway thrust. All right, here we go. Alpha 14, Bravo, November. Why are they going off of 10? I think that guy said he's going off of 10. Oh, just because he wants to go straight out, probably. Since our flight plan connected when it shouldn't, I gotta put a T in here. Won't let me do it, huh? I should be able to create a disco.
4111 at Alpha 8. Okay.
Air traffic, American 133. We're taxiing 22 left, getting ready to turn on November full length. That's kind of a lie. We're on Bravo here, and then we're gonna cut across to November. Then we'll do some flight control checks. I wonder if I can turn on X Enviro right now. I'm just going to hang tight until we get off this airport. Frames are good, 35, but... Link to the Discord should be in the description, man. As well as the new pandemic flight sim gear. If you guys haven't already, check it out. I thought it was kind of a cool idea to make some silver lining based on all this COVID stuff. If you want to see the new mug, it says I sim through the 2020 pandemic. New juicy V1 logo on the back. I also got a face mask and one other item. Oh, a decal sticker if you want to put it on your PC or something. Exclamation point Rona in chat as well. We'll get you there. All right, there we go. We are on it. Let's do our flight control check. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudders, full left, full right, neutral. That looks good. Auto brakes, max, takeoff, config, check. That's on, that is ready to go. Ding the flight attendants. We are ready to go. Let's run our before takeoff above and below. Gross weight comparison is complete. Pitch trim, 0.2%. CG set, V1, VR, V2 flex, 144, 144, 149, a no flex set. Flaps, config, 1+F. Flight instruments, check. Flight controls, check. ECAM memo, takeoff, all green. ECAM status check, PWS auto, TCAS code set, TRA, cabin crew advised, mini brief is complete. Takeoff runway, we're going 22 left, confirm. Fuel, 11.9 required, 12, or actually 11.8 required, 12 on board. Engine mode selector normal, bleeds and packs are set. Full takeoff check is complete.
96 taxi, Alpha 15, November, multi-short 22 left.
Carter says, you purchased X Enviro, how are you liking it? Yeah, I had to after Dimitri started a fund for it. I actually love it. I think it is a really good visual mod, but man, if you have a 1070 card, I wouldn't recommend anything less than a 1070 card if you want to run X Enviro. It will brick your frames for sure. Oh my goodness. No thank you. We'll turn on X Enviro after we depart. So we are in the LR model, so we do have our second slot on that inboard flap there.
American 91, lining up to 2 left.
Yeah, frame drops have showed up. Man, I know I could see that. Dang, we're up to 19%. Where'd you get to AI traffic? That is Vatsim. That is Vatsim.
O'Hare traffic, American 2033, lining up runway 10 left.
So we're gonna.
O'Hare traffic, American 91 departing runway 22 left.
So he's going off 22 left. We got another guy going off 10 left. Full length. Those marker warnings have started on all my aircraft recently. I don't know, man. I don't know why every designer has them on by default. Last time I listened to a marker beacon, I was in a turboprop at night in the ice by myself. Audio is still smooth for you? We'll keep pressing on. If it gets unbearable, we can always end it, and then I'll just continue flying along with everybody on Vatsim. But yeah, I don't know what's happening today on the internet. I did my little special reset router check, but maybe the freaking antenna has ice. It's very possible there could be ice up there, so I don't know. We'll see. Range Rick says, I watched a video on the upgrade. Anything significantly new on the McDo? No. Unfortunately, not in the McDo itself, no.
O'Hare traffic,
you do have your
American
proper,
2033,
max
departing
braking
runway
ETM.
10 left, runway heading, O'Hare.
But as far as the McDo, it is still the same McDo as
American 91 is
older ones.
airborne on turning direct mobile.
Can you fly from Dallas to Miami, please? Eric Cruz, thank you so much for the donation, man. Dallas, Miami, yeah, we can do it. We can do Dallas, Miami. Thank you so much for your $5 super chat, man, or $5 donation. Yeah, we can do Dallas, Miami. That's just a longer flight. Maybe we'll have to do that in our back to work stream. I don't know if I have any good Miami scenery. Chicago traffic, American 133. We're lining up 22 left. All right, let's line them up and get out of here. These engines are so quiet. Quieter than the Pratts. We got plenty of warm-up on there. There's a guy taking off 22 left, I believe. Or 10. I think he's right above us. Okay, traffic, American 133, departing 22 left. Alright, that was a terrible lineup. So let's take that opportunity to spool it up 50%. Let's see what these leaps got. Yoga. They're quiet. 8 knots, stress set.
O'Hare traffic, American 2033, climb direct mobile.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Hero. Oh, I'm gonna rotate it. Pretty juicy, not gonna lie. So the airplane is in a nav 2 mobile. We'll just let it do that. It's not, you would get a Vector here in Chicago in real life. Then we got to cross that first ring by 3,000. So I'm gonna kind of keep that. We'll come down to MCT for a second. There's 3. Oh yeah, we're gonna be good. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Matter of fact, I'm gonna just do a heading here. We're gonna do left turn heading 130. At or above, was it 8,000? So we're looking good here. I'm going to autopilot 1 so we can watch these flaps come up. These sounds are simply ear delicious. I think they are too, man. Not bad, not bad.
Traffic, American 96, lining up 22 left.
So it went from 40s straight down to 23 almost. I don't think we're going to make that second one. We're supposed to cross that at or above 8. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Subscriber ahead. Look.
Oh no, 4,000. It was 8 miles. Yeah, well, plenty good. All right, here we go. Let's go direct. Mobile. I hear traffic American 133. We're at a 6.5 going direct mobile. Last call. Okay. Yeah, look at that. Look at the frames just tank with X-Enviro in Chicago. But that looks juicy as all hell.
Overhead traffic aircraft 96 takeoff. Runway 221.
All right, we turn it down. Turning it down. All right, 8.4, climbing 370. Getting ready to go through 10,250 on the speed. We're still looking good. Aviation Master says absolutely lovely sounds. Oh, yeah. Anderson C, can't hear my voice very well. I adjusted it now. I just had it up loud for that takeoff. Hopefully you can hear me better now. 4-second shark. Hey, what's going on? Karina Penderson, what's going on? That wing view is pretty spicy, not gonna lie, man. When we made that turn. JKK, your house is right below you? Right below here? Awesome. Thank you for the subscribe, PD. Hopefully Toliss will put the 321 plus NEO on Boxing Day sale. $100 US is a lot for us Canucks. I hear you, A-guy. I hear you, man. So I'm hoping as we get away from Chicago, I don't know if it'll change anything in the sim, but we'll see. We should have a nice evening arrival into LaGuardia, but I don't know. We may have to turn X-Enviro off for LaGuardia. I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to these leap sounds here. That's a nice, look at that downtown skyline right there. That's pretty cool. Pretty nice. No ortho here in this section, obviously. Got a little missing some tiles for sure. I know I have Fork Boy up and down the East Coast. When would you normally do the engine cooling procedure? So Jack, if you're in the Leaps, if you're in the Pratt & Whitneys, it'll tell you, you're gonna have to cool them before each start. So it'll tell you when you move the ignition selector to ignition start, how long the estimated cooling time is on the ECAM. It'll say cool, and it'll have 21 seconds, 30 seconds, 47 seconds, whatever it may be. And the cooling is dynamic in real life on the real airplane on the Pratt & Whitney. So you have to, it takes into account the outside air temperature, last time the engine was run, what is the current temperature of the engine. It takes into account a bunch of different factors, and your pressure altitude too. So, but it will tell you on the ECAM in real life what the expected cooling time is. Mateo, what's going on, man? It says, I just joined, Captain. Are you running Leap or Pratt & Whitney? I'm running the Leaps today, man, against my better judgment, but this livery was so juicy from 19 Adam, I had to run the Leaps. Benny, hometown Chicago, dude. Awesome. Shout out. Ooh, I just turned off windshield wind and X-Plane Realistic. It's so quiet now. Let me just make sure I don't have any of that on. I'm pretty sure I don't. I know we're getting some, yeah, wind. Windshield wind ambiance. That's for outside the airplane. But yeah, and I just linked this profile as well in the Discord. We're way through 10, so let's go ahead and turn off the wing lights here. Still hate the fact that I can't mouse wheel those switches. Alright, those are set, red at 10, ding the flight attendants. We're leaving the seatbelt sign on here. How are we looking on fuel? We got 3.6 remaining. Whoa! Okay, if I saw 3.6 pounds, this is in pounds, not kilos now, so this is why I'm so happy to have pounds, because if I just look down, I see 3.6, they're like, oh, that's fine, because we're flying kilos the whole time. But 3.6 thousand, that's not a lot of gas for a 321. That is actually below our max, or below our minimum dispatch fuel for our SOPs. I think we got to be... for the NEO, it's got to be in the 4.5, I think. But yeah, that's if I see 3.6 going into LaGuardia. Going into LaGuardia with 3.6 remaining, that's scary stuff, man. In real life, that would be very, very scary. We'll zoom the range out. Got some nice traffic in front of us there. That looks good. There's standard, set standard. Let's do a flyby shot. Extend the width of Sim Toolkit Pro. You know, I tried to do that to get that one. Let's see if I can do it here. No, it doesn't. See, that's just how they do it. They just, it won't, it doesn't matter. Yeah, see, it always, that's when you do depends on how many features that you have on the Sim Toolkit Pro overlay. That's why it's doubled up like that, because I have call sign on there. Captain Epidemic, yeah, so I've been waiting for a snow day, and then we're going to do it, but I don't think I can do it tomorrow. We'll see. I'm going to try to schedule it early, but our next stream should be the Back to Work stream, number 2, where we do anti-ice, de-ice. We'll be back in the FS labs, and we'll actually be doing some de-icing in P3D, because you actually can simulate that, which is pretty incredible. But yeah, we will be. I know they're expecting. I got my buddy's been talking about Winter Storm Gale. I believe is the storm that's coming through. It's supposed to be pretty nasty. So I'm glad I'm not flying. Getting some dinner in the background. Awesome, Dougal. Orion says, I'm new. The NEO range, what exactly is the engine cooling for? I understand the engine cooling have to use reverse thrust, but not before start. Orion, so in the Pratt and Whitneys, you generally have very, very tight blade tolerances. So what that means is when you expand a metal, when metal gets heated, it expands. When it cools, it retracts. Now, with such tight tolerances on the Pratts, there's a phenomenon called rotor bowing, where that if the core of the engine is not cooled equally, it can actually deform slightly, and because the tolerances are so tight on that engine, it can cause severe damage to the airplane. So what dual cooling does, and dual cooling is rather new. Before dual cooling, we just had to sit there and cool each engine manually, and it would, when you hit engine start, it would do a single engine. It would just start cooling one engine, and then you would have to wait, start the other one, then it would go through that process. It just took longer. But the whole point of that cooling process is to make sure the engine is equally cooled. All parts of the engine are equally cooled at the same time to minimize and hopefully eliminate that rotor bowing phenomena in the Pratt & Whitney motor. You need to adjust the width in the Sim Toolkit Pro source properties. Oh, am I missing that? Let's see. Let's see. Overlay. Is it in the overlay? I'm looking. I'm under streaming, show airframe, transparency. Here, look, we can do it this way. Boom, we'll get rid of vertical speed. There we go. Got rid of vertical speed, so now it's just a single line. You're getting a blizzard in New York Wednesday and Thursday, yep. What's the difference between these and the Pratts? So we'll talk about it here. Let's go through. I saw my notes from the last time we did the Pratt & Whitney versus LEAP. So a couple key points for Pratt & Whitney versus LEAP. The biggest thing for me is the size. So the Pratt & Whitney is actually 2.06 meters, where the LEAP is 1.98. So it is a little bit larger engine hanging underneath the wing, which when you stand in front of a Pratt & Whitney, it is pretty cool, man. I mean, I can stand up inside there pretty much. I don't even 2.06 meters in the feet. That's trying to think what that is conversion. I'm sure one of you guys can convert it in chat, but I'm pretty sure I'm 6'1". I think I can stand up in those motors. Thank you for the subscribe there, Corin. Appreciate it. So another difference between the Pratt & Whitney and the LEAP is the bypass ratio. So the Pratt & Whitney is a 12-to-1 bypass ratio versus the LEAP, which is 11-to-1. So you actually have more bypass air in the Pratt & Whitney motor, which is when you can really see this when you stand behind a Pratt & Whitney in real life or even in front of it. There's so much space between the core of the engine and the cowling that you can have a full-blown conversation with somebody. Just you stand here and he could stand on this side and you just talk back and forth. I mean, it is literally a huge bypass section. Now, I'm not saying that 11-to-1 is small. It's just the Pratt & Whitney has the edge there with the bypass ratio. 1 meter is 3.3 feet. There we go. So it'd be 6 feet 6 inches. So 6.75 seat back pocket. There you go. Yeah, 675. So yeah, it definitely could stand up in there. Now, those are kind of the main differences. Now, there's a couple other things we can get more into in depth here, and I talked thoroughly about it on the very first NEO stream I did before this airplane released. But without getting too much into detail, is basically how both of these motors achieve their efficiency. The Pratt does it differently than the LEAP. The Pratt does it with a fan drive gear system, or FDGS, and it basically has a fan speed reduction to keep the fan operating at its optimal speed while the turbine section can operate at its optimal speed. And it's actually a reduction of 3-to-1. So it's just a different method of making the engines efficient. The LEAP has an MTC, or modulated turbine system. They basically redirect stage 10, I believe, high pressure air, something like that. So they both are very efficient engines, just understand that, and they both have very different ways of achieving their efficiency. So they're by no means do they use the same technology. Fuel nozzles, that's another different one off the top of my head. That's 19 to 18. The Pratt & Whitney actually has one less fuel nozzle than the LEAP. And I can only imagine the LEAP can put out a little bit more thrust than the Pratts can. So I think that's got something to do with it there. They need a little bit more fuel, so the LEAPs have one more fuel nozzle. But I mean, now you're splitting hairs at this point. And then the Pratt, of course, the way it cools these engines, both the LEAP and the Pratt are running very, very hot. They run much hotter than a regular CEO engine. Now, I know even a CEO engine runs hot, and it could just very well be where the temperature is measured, but I'm pretty sure that it's just part of the efficiencies of these engines that they do run hotter in general than your CEO option. So the Pratts, the way they cool is they have 4 different cooling methods. They have air oil cooling, they have fuel oil, IDG oil cooling, and they also have IDG oil and fuel to keep the engines at a normal operating temp. So it's pretty incredible technology when you really get into it. But, I mean, all you got to know, I mean, for sim purposes, the Pratt is a little bit larger than the LEAP, and the Pratt sounds cooler, in my opinion, although the LEAP startup sound is pretty sweet. You get that really unique sound, but the Pratt is still going to be number one in my heart. Let's go back here for a little bit. X Enviro Sky Colors for the win, though. I thought I saw Rolls-Royce on the 319. They're not used these on the A320, 321. Ranger Rick, I don't know, man. There's, as far as I know, you've got CFM and IAEs on the Airbuses, but I mean there could be some unique operator somewhere that maybe has a different motor on there. But as far as my common knowledge is, it's really just the 4. You got the IAE, the CFM LEAP, and the Pratt & Whitney Pure Power. Sandra, what's up? It says, hi, V1 in chat. I can't get the liveries working in the new 321 NEO. Anyone know how to do it, liveries? Sandra, so depending on what livery you get, and I even showed it on the beginning of this stream, they might be exit configuration specific. So if you're running the American livery, which I have, ! Livery, if you want to download it, this is the configuration that you need to have for it to work. You need to have your LEAP motors. I believe you could switch between LR and XLR. I don't know if that will change the flap. But the single over wing exit is the door config. So 19 Adam, he does a very good job with making his paints very realistic, and this specific airplane in real life has that single over wing exit layout with one plugged over wing. So this is, if you don't have this selected here, the livery won't show up. So I don't know if other liveries that are coming out that are going to be compatible with all the different door configurations, but that's something that you might want to toggle with, is your door config, to make sure it matches whatever the creator put in the thumbnail, see if you can match it. Let's do a flyby view and then we'll hop outside here. Flyby's not bad. It is definitely loud. I'm going to turn on down X-plane here. Hold on. There we go. All right. But yeah, this livery again. So you've got the single overwing exit, and I believe that's a plugged exit there, and you have no exit in front of the wing. It could have been IAEs. They look like mini RB211s. So the 350 are on the Rolls-Royce? I don't know. Orion, he said Rolls-Royce engines are on the 350. How are the FPS? Not bad. So as we got away from Chicago, we're running 43 FPS, but we are over default scenery right now. I have a small section between Chicago and the Northeast where I have my fork buoy. So even though we are running X Enviro, that's still pretty good. 44 FPS with X Enviro, I'm happy with that. Is there such thing as a 319 NEO? Yes, there actually is. I believe there's been some orders for them. I want to say Spirit Airlines ordered 319 NEO. But as far as them being out yet, they are not out. I don't think anybody's flying a 319 NEO. It's kind of, I think it got, I don't know, kind of put on the back burner for a little bit. And then you got the 220 that came out, that C series, which is now the A220. Kind of fits that niche, but I still think a 319 NEO would be sweet. I would love to fly a 319 NEO. Yeah, Mateo says, I believe there's a 319 NEO, but it didn't sell. Yeah, so I knew I saw pictures of an Airbus 319 NEO, so I know they messed with it. I just don't know if anybody actually got any deliveries or what happened. Toga says, thanks, Captain. I enjoying the awesome stream. Awesome. Glad to hear it, man. I think the frame drops have settled down a little bit. I don't know. At least on my monitoring end, we've gone down from almost 20% back down to 16% frame drop. So hopefully it's smoothed out a little bit there. Who knows, man. This internet is so, it just can be any given day. I'm just thankful for that 6-hour stream. Looking back on that, you know, I'm not a huge fan of long hauls in general. You guys know that, but I don't know. That was just so fun to do that one over the Atlantic in the 321 NEO. I thought that was a lot of fun. We might have to do another long haul just because, I mean, the internet held up perfectly, and even though I totally botched the landing a little bit, it was still a lot of fun. Spirit will be the first to fly the 319 NEO, but not out yet. There you go. In the U.S. at least. Is there any 319 NEO orders in the European? Over in Europe? Jeez, speak. This is what happens when my wife throws away my coffee. Carter says, yeah, Spirit has 319 NEOs. There have only been 2 deliveries for someone, not sure if it was Spirit. So I haven't seen any in the U.S. operated by any airline yet. I mean, it could have been. I don't know, but I haven't seen any yet. I don't know if they were delivered here, maybe somewhere in Europe. I just think that 319 NEO I think it's better than the 220, than the A220. You can carry a little bit more people on it. Corwin says, was the 321 easy to learn? For me, yeah, because I was typed on the airplane. Now, if you're familiar with any other Airbus, it definitely is pretty easy to step into the 321. Syntac, what's up? He says, when are real-life airlines going to take advantage of advertising and sponsoring fly-ins and VA? Seems like great marketing. I don't know, man, but it does seem like a great marketing opportunity. It really does. Henrik Hansen, Danish Krones, right? Danish, is that? Another 35 of them. Thank you so much. He gives me a cup of coffee sticker. I might have to get up and just make a quick cup of coffee because, no lie, I need some this morning. I'm sorry, the Pacific. Yeah, Flight Simmer C. I told you, man. Stream cut off for a second. Uh-oh. Hopefully it's back. Just refreshing, you're back on it? That's good. Oh, looks like we had a little bit of turbulence there. In Europe, I think some privates bought the 319 NEO, but don't know the airlines. There you go. So that might be where they are. Like I said, I haven't seen any in the U.S. yet. That livery is looking good, though. All right, we're level 370. How are we doing up here? We're 500 miles out, so we're trucking along. We'll go ahead and turn that seatbelt sign off. Zoom it on out here. Are we eating this guy up in front of us? He's 10 miles out in front of us. We'll keep an eye on him. Got X and Viro. Let's post it up here on the jump seat view. Come fly along with me in the jump seat. Carter says Air China has eight 319s ordered. I think 2 deliveries were for private users. Oh, there we go. Stream blipped a couple times, but keeps coming back. No big deal. Hey, I feel like this is just one of those streams where we're just gonna have to push through it. Unfortunately, the internet's not cooperating today, but hey, at least if you guys have got your NEOs, I know there's quite a few guys on Vatsim flying over. It's pretty sweet. Commander says I pinged you in technical help about how to alter the width of the Sim Toolkit Pro Source in OBS. Awesome, man. Thank you. I will check that out. I'll check it out after the stream. I hate opening up Discord while I'm streaming. I know Chrome is definitely an internet hog for me. But thank you, Commander. I'll check it out, man. That would be great because then I can keep that vertical speed in there and then stretch it out a little bit longer, and then connect that the donation on the top right as well. Gotta go. Have a great flight. We'll catch the rest later. Ranger Rick, thanks for stopping by, man. Have a good one. Irish says there's only 2 airline customers for the 319 NEO, which are Air China and Spirit. I should have figured Air China would jump on that. That seems like a good airplane for that market. High density, high traffic, short flying. You get a few more people in there than you can a 220. I mean, you get a 319 in all economy. I mean, you can fit 130-something people. I mean, you can really put a lot of people in a 319 if you got an economy class in there. And if you're running NEO motors, you'll be saving gas. That, to me, still seems like a winner. The 220 is more like a regional jet replacer. I think that'll replace the Embraers. Noah says, I love the update. Where do you get your liveries, though? It's pretty new. I'm not seeing any liveries. They're starting to pop up here and there, Noah. If you do exclamation point livery, you can get this livery from, I believe it's on Threshold. Exclamation point livery for this livery. A Nightbot should pop it up for you. Christian says, you're on my SV1, but I'm staying at 350 and you're going at 37. I bumped the speed anyway. All right, man. I'm just doing, are you in a NEO? I'm doing 7.8 Mach, man. Hey, if you want to fly slower than 7.8, you need to get back in those turboprops. 7.8 or greater, man. Full send. Dylan, so far no interruptions for you. Been watching since the beginning. Awesome, Dylan. Glad to have you on board, man. I appreciate you guys every time. Invite me into your house, into your office, wherever it may be, to do a little flight simming. JR says, would you show how to insert latitude points in a stream one day? Would like to know how this jet would like to know now that this jet goes long. Like lat and longs? Yeah, man. Real quick, I don't have any points for you right now, but where you would put them. So if you were trying to locate a custom waypoint, what I would do, I'd go here, I'd go fix. Oh, you know what? No, I'd go here. Nope. Hold on. Let me get to it. Drawn blank. Somebody's hot micing. Somebody's hot micing on Vatsim. Here we go. Well, no, that's lat long crossing, incrementals, fix info. Actually, you know what? We can get rid of these. Hold on. I'll get to it. Man, I haven't input lot and long in so long here. So in the real airplane, what we would do is if we'd go to data, and then you could select. Yeah, and you could select custom waypoint, and then you put in the lat and long, and then you can call it up in the init page. So that might be something I have to do in the FS Labs or in the Flight Factor. But that would be something that we should check out at some point. I don't know. I'm seriously drawing a blank right now. Because the way that I would do it in real life is if you go to data or McDo menu over here, honestly, it's been so long, I'm pretty sure it's a data index, and you can go to custom waypoints. And then when you select that, it brings up an entire format. You have different format options that you can put in your lat and longs, and you name the fix. So you would name, we do this, we call it off airway fixes. So for flight over terrain, significant terrain, you'll get, Christian said that was you, no worries, man. So when you're flying over high terrain, there's a couple things we've got to take into account that we really never talk about on stream, and you really don't need to know it on stream. But a lot of it has to do with depressurization and escape routes and things like that. If you lose an engine, you have to descend. So there are some what we call terrain critical points. And what we do in our flight plan, we'll get it in our flight plan. It'll probably be in the remarks section at the top here. Like we'll have a separate page and it says OA1, off airway 1, off airway 2, and it has a lat and long. And what you do is you go into your McDo, you go data, custom waypoint, and then we name it OA1. We literally name it OA1 for off airway 1, and then you put in the lat and long, and then you do create another custom waypoint for OA2, put in the lat and long, and then you go to the fix info page, and then you pull up the fix that you just put in. So all you would put in is OA1 in the fix info page, and then that would pull up the waypoint that you just put in manually. Now you can insert that into your flight plan, and what that does is you can tell if you have a engine failure or something in before off airway point 1, then you have to go to a certain alternate. If you have it past OA1 and before OA2, then you go to a different alternate. If it's after OA2, then you continue on to your destination or however it may be. But that's, I mean, you really don't need to know that for terrain critical stuff in flight sim, really. Can you imagine taking a 220 from Newark to Europe? No, I cannot, man. That's a long time to be in a 220. Carter says apparently China Southern Airlines has 9 319 NEOs ordered. I saw a picture of one being painted, but not sure it's been delivered. Awesome. Ladbound says you have to do it in the flight plan and manually enter the lat and long coordinates in the scratch pad and enter it after the last point before the custom waypoint. Oh, so you just have to put it in the flight plan manually? I got you. All right, so I'd have to I'd have to pull that one up. That's something I don't think I've ever done. But you manually enter the lat and long coordinates in the scratch pad and then enter it in the last point before your custom waypoint. I got. So essentially you just put in the lat and long and then you drop it into your flight plan and it should be there. Okay, I got you. Makes sense. I was wondering what that noise was, Christian. I heard it. I'm like, what is that guy doing? Man, look at those sky colors though with the CFM leaps on there. I don't know. Okay, in chat, just type. I just want to hear your opinion. What is your favorite? Either type CFM. I'm sorry, don't type CFM. Either type LEAP or Pratt & Whitney. Just PW. LEAP or PW. Put it in chat. I'm curious to see what the overall consensus is. PW or LEAP in chat. What is your preferred engine? I'm just sitting here looking at this LEAP, and you got that little gearbox bump right down here on the bottom right. I mean, it does have a pretty cool fan section. That spinner looks pretty good. I'm pretty sure Card is a Leap fan. Wojtek, good morning. Says, I see a new logo. You got it, man. We got a new logo. We got a new banner. We have new merch, the Pandemic Flight Simmer merch, which I'm super excited about. I think, you know, it puts a little silver lining on this whole Corona thing. So if you want to check out a new mug, one of my new favorite mugs, that says I sim through the 2020 pandemic with an airbus on it, do exclamation point Rona, R-O-N-A, in chat, and it should bring it to it. All right, we got Leap, Pratt, Leap, Pratt. Wow. It seems pretty balanced. Pratt, Whitney, GE90, Leap. Maybe Pratt is leading. I don't know. Maybe Pratt is leading. I have to do a full-blown poll on my YouTube channel. Dougal's prefers the Leaps. Come on, man. Yeah, I know Carter's got Leap. Gaming Ninja says, I like both of them. No preferences so far. All right. I need to change my screen name to IAD Bound. IAD Bound is... Oh, oh, Toliss Bound. I got you. Toliss Bound. Okay. Lad Bound. My bad, dude. My bad. Romulus says, ones that work. Amen, dude. GE90 is beautiful. Bonsoir, Amar. Welcome aboard, man. Wojtek's Pratt & Whitney. Man, I like that. Wojtek, I'm surprised you're a Pratt & Whitney fan. All right. I might have to put up a I'm going to put up a poll on my channel at some point because we're going to have to settle the debate overall. I love the startup of that Leap. Excuse me. And I think it's generally quieter on taxi than the Pratt. I'll take anything to get me home safe. I hear you, Jack. I hear you, man. Canada, eh? Canada. You know, I saw an Air Canada 8300 livery on the forums. The new, I know it's a fictional livery, but man, it looks so good. With that black on the bottom, I think that new Air Canada livery looks really good. What clouds? Those are X-Enviro clouds, man. JKK says, whoever lives in New York about that winter storm is supposed to be the biggest since 2018. Yeah, and I was there in 2018. Gale, I believe it's called Gale. Winter Storm Gale. That's cool. Look at that sharklet reflection all the way up the wing. Beautiful French captain. That's all I'll say, Amar. I took French in high school, man. All right, let's go ahead and start cleaning up some of our stuff here in the box. Let's pull up our airports. I know it's still just a tad early, but it is the Guardia. La garbage. So let's find out what we need to find out here. All right, 3:30 at 11, so we'll definitely be landing 3-1. Gust 2-1. Ooh, almost sounds like we need to do a visual approach to that sucker. Let's see what we got here. Airport 10-9. Pull up that. I'm based out of DFW, man. All right, so 3-1 will probably be our landing runway. Let's look at approaches. For 3-1, we have the Loke 3-1. Oh, that's pretty boring. Actually, what is the... We should actually check the cloud. What are the clouds doing? View at 4,400, broken at 25. So we should have no problem doing a visual into LaGuardia. So we might do the Expressway visual 3-1. Expressway visual 3-1 with a 321 NEO with 31 knot gust or 21 knot gust. That'll be interesting. All right, dials, white tanks, inbound. Well, what the heck? We'll try it. I don't even know if my scenery is good enough to do the Expressway visual. I don't know what scenery I have up there in New York. But we'll give it our best shot. How's that? We'll try the Expressway visual 3-1 with a little bit of gusty winds. Probably keep the auto thrust on. We'll see how it handles. And then we'll fly. Now I believe I saw XP72 do this approach in Flight Sim 2020. And man, the default scenery for New York, it's got everything there. It's got the white tanks. It looks so beautiful. City Field. We'll have to see. I believe I have Fork Boy up there. I don't have any custom New York scenery. But we should, I think we'll have enough to get it done. Expressway Visual 3.1 can be pretty intense in a 321, that's for sure. Especially in real life. But alright, we got our charts up. Just for planning purposes. Ryan says, I've actually never been to LaGuardia in real life myself. Why is it so bad? It's not that it's well, it is bad. I mean, here's the thing. As an airline crew, it's gotten much better in recent years. They've opened up some new terminals and stuff. But when there's weather in LaGuardia, man, it goes downhill. I mean, if you're doing a turn, there's a good chance that you'll time out in LaGuardia because you can't get out and you can't get in real life right now, we'd probably be sequenced. We'd probably be asked to slow down to 7.4 Mach or less for spacing into LaGuardia. It's got a lot of traffic in a high density area. The runways, they have 4 runways technically, or they have two pieces of pavement, but they're intersecting, so you can't do simultaneous parallels or anything. One takeoff, one landing at a time. So it definitely is a high density, high workload airport, and when it slows down, it really slows down. Look at that shot coming in over Cleveland. Newark is another major airport, so you got Kennedy, LaGuardia, and Newark. Flying Gadar says there's a way to cheat and make some custom waypoints in the box. Are you talking about for the Expressway? I don't know if I can do it on Toliss if I can't enter my custom waypoint. I don't have that custom waypoint section in the data page. I don't think we can do it. Now, we might be able to do some radials and some fixed info pages and get it done. We'll try that. Just in case the scenery doesn't have the clearest city field. So what we can do is we're going to follow the localizer. So I know we have this bay here. And you've got Flushing Meadow Park, and there's some water over here. But we'll follow the localizer on, what runway is that? That's 4. So I will hard tune the localizer to 4 so we can identify Dials intersection. And we actually have the waypoint there. We can type in Dials. That's not a big deal. But we can type in Dials, and then we'll shoot it. Now, in real life, how would I load it? In real life, I would probably load runway 31 without any approach. So I would load runway 31, which would give me a nice long extended center line. I would hard tune. I would probably put Dials in the box there, and then I would have LaGuardia hard tune. So we'll try to do that as we begin our approach preparation here in just a few minutes. I think we're not quite there for preparation yet, are we? No, we're 375, about another 100 miles, and we'll start our preparations. But yeah, those clouds are juicy down there, aren't they? Jeez. We may, unfortunately, have to turn X Enviro off by the time we get to LaGuardia, though I have a feeling that LaGuardia and X Enviro and streaming might melt the PC. It might melt that old 1070 card. If you guys, I know someone was asking, what is the minimum for X Enviro? I wouldn't recommend anybody run X Enviro with anything less than a 1070 card, because when I'm not streaming, it's a little bit better. I can get through. I can get by. If you're trying to use Vatsim and X Enviro, there could be issues. Like you saw, we almost had a disconnect there in Chicago, just because of the X Enviro. But I think that's that Nimbus scenery. So we flew into LA and Orbix HD with the Toliss on Vatsim just fine with X Enviro running. So it can be done with a 1070 card, but I would be very careful if you want to get anything less. Hey guys says those clouds are juicy. I agree, man. Yes, it is X Enviro. Alex Friedman says Newark is my home airport. In your opinion, does it run smoothly? Newark does. Yeah, Newark can slow down, but because you got parallel runways, I feel like it flows a little bit more smooth than LaGuardia. But Newark definitely, all those New York airports, man, the problem necessarily isn't the airport itself. It's just the sheer amount of traffic in such a small space. I mean, you got Newark, LaGuardia, and Kennedy all right next to each other. So they have to coordinate with each other when airplanes are departing and arriving. So if one airport, like a lot of times you'll have a front moving in, right? And it'll hit LaGuardia, or it'll hit Newark first, messes up the Newark departures. Then you'll have LaGuardia and Kennedy go down at the same time, and then it can really be a mess. But it's almost just that fact that you have such a sheer amount of traffic in such a small geographical position there between Kennedy, LaGuardia, and Newark that when it's bad, it is a real bad. But in general, I would say Newark and Kennedy. I'd probably go Newark. Actually, no, you know what? I'd probably go Kennedy. Kennedy can push some traffic. Kennedy can push traffic. I'd go Kennedy, Newark, LaGuardia in terms of efficiency. Tommy Monroe, what's up? He says, I haven't tuned in a few months, but I'm happy to be back. Tommy Monroe, welcome aboard, man. Glad to have you back. Dude, we are just passing that midway point. We're getting ready to start our approach planning for LaGuardia. We're going to do the Expressway Visual 3-1, running some X-Enviro. Jared says, I'm using the Pratts from Hamburg to Newark. Wow. A321 XLR. Jared, that's awesome, man. Newark, from Hamburg to Newark. Jeez. How long is that flight time? Sam says, I've also heard New York doesn't handle snow nearly as well as, say, MSP. Oh, no. Canada, if it's snowing, Canada, it's like any other day, man. Canada can do some damage when it's snowing. St. Paul is also very good in the snow. I feel like St. Paul, I've flown into some of the nastiest weather in St. Paul, and I don't know what it is about that airport. I just get the best landings, man, in real life anyway. My landings have been very, very good in St. Paul, and I don't know, it's probably partially to do with the fact that it's the worst weather. So when you have super bad weather, you're extremely focused and you're highly focused on what's happening. So you tend to make a little better landing. But MSP, man, I've been in there my very first time in a 321 as an FO, right off of OE. And after you pass OE, you have to have up to 100 hours, I believe. You have a certain wind limitation. This is all SOP stuff. It'll depend on whoever you've worked for. But up to 100 hours, you have certain wind limitations. And I had just hit my 100 hours. Literally on that flight was my 100th hour. And the wind was a crosswind, like, I don't know, 37 knots or something. Blowing rain, just unreal. And totally greased it on the way. Like a short final, captain looked at me. He goes, "You sure you got 100 hours?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I wouldn't have felt bad at all if he wanted to take it either, but yeah, that was a memory I had from MSP, right up, brand new in the 321. Henrik, thank you again for another 35, another cup of coffee, man. I appreciate it, dude. Very much appreciated, man. Thank you for the coffee sticker. Jared says his block time from Hamburg to Newark is 8:47. Good grief. Christian says, I'm so close to finishing my PC, but yet so far, waiting to find a 380 and good PSU. There you go, man. I'm definitely going to have to upgrade. I'm going to have to upgrade the graphics card at some point here. We'll see. There's just so many expenses this year with moving, and it's just unreal. Sometimes getting Vulkan device lost. Yeah, that's why I don't run Vulkan, man. I've had issues with Vulkan. Are 320s even used for any transatlantic flights? British Airways uses a 318. Daniel says, I'm actually on a 321-200 flight right now, New York to from LA. Then a Ukraine International 777 to Kiev. Busy day. Wow, man. That was very busy. Thank you for the subscribe there, Kirk. Appreciate it, man. Hey, guy says, I love flying in winter up in Canada. Only fly ultralights, but man, I've had 4,000 feet per minute climb rates when it's cold in a single engine ultralight. Oh, I believe it, dude. I believe it, man. Nothing like that cold air, low density altitude performance. Landing is terrifying when the noise is all icy. Yeah, dude. I remember a couple times where you just break out, Philly in particular. I remember I broke out landing 27 right, and it was just, you couldn't even tell where the runway was. It was just white. Everything was white. Taxiways, runways. It's like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe we're going to land in this. Thank you for the subscribe there, Eric Miles. Appreciate it. What are your current specs? Exclamation point specs. Brett, exclamation point specs will give you exactly what you're looking for. New York Tracon does a great job. Yeah, New York Tracon can push some tin, dude. New York, those guys can move traffic. And Chicago, honestly, Chicago. I feel like Chicago may be one of the best in real life because when the weather goes down in O'Hare, they just make you fly faster. It's like, okay, for some reason, just says, okay, maintain 7.8, maintain 7.8. And whereas everywhere else you're flying to, they start slowing everybody down. Chicago just feels like, okay, fly fast. We're going to get you lined up. Boom, 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 boom. And they can, Chicago guys, when the weather goes down, are pretty darn good. Finally entering some ortho here. That looks good. Let's do a flyby shot, park outside for a minute. Not bad. All right, as we get ready to go over some ortho, I'm trying to find a good spot for the camera. Yeah. I'll park it there for a minute. I'm going to do a quick run to the lav, and we are going to prepare for our arrival into LaGuardia. So just give me a minute. All right, we are back. Have you ever flown to Boise, Idaho? Oh, yeah, man. Definitely. Boise's a fun town. Oh, look at that colors. With now that we're over the Fork Boy. Oh, man, these leaps. This leap bump is growing on me. This leap bump is growing on me. This is X-Plane 11, Legenda X-Plane 11. Aren't O'Hare controllers also significantly more hands-on at most other airports? Or more hands-on than at most other airports? You mean just controlling of your speed? Yeah. O'Hare is one of those airports where your econ descent path and your planned approach, decel point, all that goes out the window, man. Going into O'Hare, it is, I mean, it's not uncommon, especially if it's a low visibility situation or there's a lot of weather going on. It's not uncommon for you to be vectored off the approach and then rejoin the approach 3 times to, cancel your speed restrictions and then all of a sudden resume your speed restrictions. There's a lot of hands-on stuff there in O'Hare. Looks like we're just starting to see that sun come down. Awesome. Christian says, I don't know about UV1 and your default weather, but I'm rocking a 99 knot tailwind. What? I got a 35 knot tailwind, man. I got you. I think I've gained on you a little bit there, but you're holding about 8 miles. Yeah, we'd definitely be slowed for spacing. Are you going to do the Expressway visual as well? Well, we're looking at fuel below 3 tons. That should be 6,600 pounds, I believe. I think they'll change that. Yeah, we still got planning to land with 4,000, so we're looking okay. I can't get enough of this shot right here. This is what makes X Enviro. Look, I'm going to move the camera up. I know it kind of blurs out the engine, but look at the lens flare on that. That's pretty sweet. Don't go down the leap path. I don't think so, man. The taxi sounds of the Pratts themselves make it, it is pretty much hard to beat, man. That whoo, that's you sound like a 777 when you do that. Umar says, hey, mate, I need answer. As a pilot, would you prefer increasing speed or decreasing speed during cruise? Increasing speed or decreasing speed? I always prefer increasing speed. Get there faster, man. Which place are they going? We are going to LaGuardia. We are going to LaGuardia, man. Oh, you're doing the Loc 3-1, Christian? Oh, that's... See, even my daughter's not happy about you doing the Loc 3-1. Jeez. We should probably start looking at our approach here and planning it up. So, let's get our constraint mode is on. How far are we? We are 276. So, you know what? I want to... 250 is normally when we would start checking this out. We're going to go plan mode. Zoom that back down here. Let's see. Neville, Keating, MIP for the Milton 4. We do want to check that out. Go back. Back. Arrival. Milton 4. We're on the MIP. Marok expect at 180. We're definitely going to put that in there. As we get down on profile, it'll also be really high. We're going to expect that at 180. Or lowest usable flight level. Biley is an expect at 13,000, so let's put that in there. Biley altitude constraint expect across 13,000. This will get us our better fuel estimate as well. Beauty expect across at 10,000. Let's put that in there as well. Beauty 10. Now these are expects, and if you were flying with ATC, you'd have to actually be assigned these altitudes. But because we don't have an ATC, we're going to use this to kind of help guide us down, make sure we're not super high on profile. All right, so there we go. That Beauty, Harlem, Dreams, Apple, Proud. After Proud, Gemke. All right, so we don't need Gemke. We're going to get rid of Gemke. Oh, no. Go back. It switched on me. We're going to get rid of Gemke. After Proud, we're going to go Dials. Proud, Dials. We're going to leave that Disco. And we don't need New York Jet because that's way out there. And they're 0-12. Terrible football team, unfortunately, to I root for. But if we look at the Expressway, Dials is cross at or above 2,500, so I'm going to put 2,500 in here as well. Did that delete all my altitudes? It sure did. Oh my gosh. See, that wouldn't, I don't believe that would happen in the real airplane. Let's go ahead and just put some others in here again. We have to put the, no, altitude constraint 10,000. So it's still there. Never mind, didn't delete it. All right, but what we need to do for our fuel purposes, which you wouldn't have to do this in the real airplane, but I gotta close this disco here, and then I'll get my fuel burn back. But we're not gonna fly that like that. We're not gonna go direct. All right, we got that in the box. For minimums, let's go in here, approach. Actually, let's look at our descent speed. We're going to do a 7.8 and 320 on the descent. Let's pull up our weather, LaGuardia. 330 at 11. Oh, temperature 4 degrees. Okay, now we're talking wintertime. 4 degrees, 3026. I can't wait for our anti-ice de-ice stream. I hope you guys do tune in for that. We're going to talk all anti-ice, de-ice, snow, contaminated runways. For a reference, guys, I'm going to put 200 down here in the MDA. This is purely a reference for me. It's not for the approach. We're going to be hand flying visually anyway. I'm just putting a 200 in there. You may leave that blank, or you may put your airline's company SOP minimum altitude engagement height down there. It would just kind of depend. Oh man, look at that shot right there. What if we go back one? Ooh, I don't know what's better. I don't know if the lens flare or just looking at that engine. The lens flare looks cool. It kind of blocks the inside of the engine, but it still looks good. You should do a round trip. I don't think with the way internet's been today, man. I don't want to do a second leg. but we'll be streaming again this week. Don't worry. I got you covered, man. Carter says, will we be getting the V1 livery with the new V1 logo on the tail? We need it for air hauler to a virtual airline. Ask Mrs. Jungles, Carter. Ask Mrs. Jungles. New V1 livery. I think we're going to have a full-blown V1 airline here pretty soon. I think it is time. We might have to come up with a call sign together and vote on it. But I don't know. You guys like that new logo? I think that new logo is juicy. Courtesy of Mr. Jungles and Mrs. Jungles. Cam, what's up, man? He says, I just installed the dual mod with the Pratt Whitney engines. 30-second cooling makes that PTU go on forever. 30 seconds, it's a long time to hear the bark. Is that normal? I'd have to, what was your sequence of startup? Did you start engine 1 first? And was the parking brake set? That's my question for you. Also, are you running default sounds or BSS? So I need to know more of the situation. There can be a lot that triggers that. Looking forward to the DI stream? Yeah, me too, Fubar. It's honestly, it's one of my favorite times of the year to fly because of the snow, and it just makes everyone's excited. Christmas. So even though de-icing, anti-icing can be a pain from the flight deck because you got to, take time, you got to sit there, get de-iced, and there's a lot more stuff that goes on. There's nothing more winter flying than having to get de-iced. This is a very unique thing, and especially when you're, in an airliner getting de-iced. When I was flying turboprops around, my de-ice consisted of shut everything off, stand outside of the airplane, make sure they don't spray it where it shouldn't be sprayed, and then verify all the surfaces are clean, then get back in the airplane, turn it back on. Can't turn on the heater because they probably sprayed some of that fluid in the intake, and if you turn on the heater, it smells like burning rubber, and you're probably going to die. So a little bit more stressful when you're flying props around in a crummy 135 op, but when you're in an airliner and you go get de-iced, there's nothing more wintry than sitting in the cockpit, getting de-iced with the smell of coffee. It's awesome, man. Christmas time, everybody's happy, so I'm pumped for the de-ice, anti-ice stream. I need a VA name that rivals alpaca. I know the alpacas are strong, man. Those alpacas are strong. You hear them on the FNOs everywhere. It's great. V1 call sign should be rotate. Oh, you started engine 2 first, 321. Well, there's your problem, Cam. That's why you start engine 1 first, my friend. You start engine 2 first. The only way you're going to pressurize your braking is by having that PTU run. So, or your nose wheel steering. So you need to get that engine 1 started first to minimize that. Always start 1 first, man. I mean, I know you don't have to, but that is a reason why. If you started engine 1 first, you wouldn't hear that. The cabin wouldn't hear that going off. Call sign bourbon. Oh, that's tough. Ooh, that's a good one. Call sign bourbon, no questions asked. Do you think Vatsim would allow that? I'm voting call sign bourbon. That is, I think that might be set. If we can get that to rock, I think that's going to be it. I don't even think there's a reason to vote on it. Why wouldn't we do anything else other than bourbon? Bourbon 133. I mean, that's pretty darn good. When you're in flight, do you leave dual cooling on? No, Matthew. So after you start both engines, incorporate that dual cooling switch into your after start flow or after start checklist. So ignition mode selector goes back to normal. Arm the spoilers. Set your flaps. Go to the overhead. Turn off dual cooling. Turn off your APU bleed and turn off your APU. So you just kind of incorporate that dual cooling switch into your flow. Look at this lighting, man. That is too nice. That is sick. No problem, Cam. That's what I'm here for, man. Yeah, and we've had this discussion over and over about what engine to start, and some operators will start 2 first. And from what I heard, you guys were mentioning 320 Sim Pilot said that in Europe they don't really single engine taxi all that much because the airports are a little bit smaller. So if you're always going to be 2 engine taxi, and then whatever, start them whichever way you want. But again, if you do that, if you do start 2, you got everybody listen to that PTU barking until 1 gets started. You should try to compete with alpaca. Oh, I don't think there's any competing with alpaca at this point. Alpaca is pretty legendary, but we won't go down without a fight, that's for sure. Bourbon actually sounds pretty cool as a call sign. I think so too. Our identifier will be BNB. That's pretty good. I like it. Or BBN. I think BBN. Yep, Skid, this is X Enviro. And guys, I'm not running a ton of, it's actually pretty low. I'll show you my settings here. So these are my X Enviro settings. Pretty low here. I mean, low, medium. Well, if you crank these up, it looks even better. This is kind of what I'm running over here on the effects. But if you wanted to pause that and take a look at it, that is what I'm running. All right, let's see what we're doing up front here. We should probably start prepping for top of descent. Yeah, we already flew past it. Oh, geez. Let's go ahead and descend down to 180. Get to talking. Crank up the X-plane a little bit here, get the volume back. While we're descending down, I tell you what, let's do a... I think we might be able to catch that. We'll go ahead, seatbelt signs on in preparation for our descent. We're going to put our TCAS into below mode. We're going to go back out on the wing. We're going to go trailing wing, and we're going to get some spoid brakes. I need spoid brakes in chat. Oh man, I can smell the coffee brewing downstairs. I don't have time to go down and get it. Look at those spoid brakes coming up. Jack says you're about to load up the 321 NEO for the first time. Awesome, dude. Take those Pratts. Here's my suggestion, Jack. If you don't take the Pratt Whitneys and you're going to take the Leaps, do your engine startup, but you have to listen to them start up from the outside. You'll be surprised. Two Tons of Love says there is a defunct airline, Air Bourbon, out of Reunion Island, which had the call sign Bourbon, ICAO's BUB. Oh, so maybe we can use that. All right, we're back on profile. We'll go ahead and stow the spoid brakes. Two Tons of Love says a defunct airline, Air Bourbon, out of Reunion Island. So we can use it. Then it would be totally legit, right? Air Bourbon. I love it. All right, I just passed you. I believe that's you, Christian. Ah, thank you. Huh? Oh, yeah, appreciate it. Thank you. Man, that's some good flight attendant service right there. Brought me a fresh cup of coffee. And look, she brought it to me in my Toga greater than flex mode. Now we're talking. All right, now I'm ready for this approach, guys. I am ready. Yeah, look at that. I just passed you, Christian. I think we're going to be okay now. But we're down to Maroc at 180. Look at that. Kyle says, is the A321 NX mod good in FS 2020? I know it's getting a heck of a lot better, man. I haven't flown it in quite some time. I really want to fly it this week, but I do need to get my back to work stream done because I have the next section in my recurrent training that I'm doing is anti-ice de-ice, and I've been saving it because I want to do my recurrent training and then do the stream, kind of like reinforce all the information. So after I get that stream out of the way, I think we'll be back in FS 2020 because I do want to check out the improvements to the fly-by-wire mod, and I want to check out the new sounds as well. Oh, turn TCAS below, you're in front. Uh-oh. Yes, Shaquille O'Neal. Welcome to the stream, Shaquille O'Neal. We are going to try to do the Expressway visual in the 321 today. I've done it in real life. It can be fun. It can be a little bit hot. I'll just say that. Anyone know if the Toliss aircraft are performance friendly? Just saw a few videos with stutters. Mark, so if you're referring to this stream, the stutters that you're getting are going to be from my internet frame drops. But I can tell you the Toliss Airbuses are very performance friendly. I'm getting 31 FPS while streaming, while running X Enviro. If I were to turn X Enviro off, this is probably in the 60s. So the Toliss airplanes are definitely pretty light on frames in my experience on my rig. Now I run a semi-powerful rig. I've got an i9, but I do have a bottleneck there with my 1070 card. But comparing them to, say, the flight factor, it beats the flight factor handedly with performance on the PC. Sam says, make sure you specifically download the custom fly-by-wire dev version of the mod. It actually flies like an airplane. I will definitely check that out, Sam. So I actually completed my whole the whole fly-by-wire announcement kit thing. Or not even kit, but they were asking for guys to do all the announcements, like the rotate and all that stuff, and then PA announcements. So I did a whole sound pack, and I submitted it to them. It'd be cool to be able to put that in one day as an option. Ever fly plane helicopters? Not an X-plane. I did fly the Nimbus Huey around a little bit, but hands down, the best helicopter simulator is DCS, Digital Combat Simulator. You can't beat the helicopter physics in DCS. No Risky, this is X-Plane 11, believe it or not, man. You would think it's FS 2020 with that X Enviro right there, wouldn't you? But believe it or not, this is FS 2020. And we should probably continue our descent here, huh? So we're going to set 10,000 feet. So we are in, let's go ahead and verify the airplane is doing what we want. We're in descent, alt constraint mode. So we've got 10 set, so it should comply with Maroc, Biley, and then Beauty down there at 10,000 feet. Everything else is looking good. We got 200 in the Barrow set for reference. Let's do a flyby. This is an awesome stream. I appreciate it, Henrik. It started out a little rough. We had some internet issues, started out a little rough, but I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. I wanted to do a different airplane today, but I just couldn't. I had to fly the NEO one more time. And whoever's behind me, I see somebody there. That's awesome, whoever's following up on my 6. Too close for missiles. Switching to guns. Fubar says, I downloaded the 3.2 flyby dev version today. Very nice. Just need the McDo to be fully functional, and we have an amazing aircraft. That's good to hear, man. I'm glad I know the progress on that thing is insane, the amount of work they put into it. So I'm very much looking forward to getting back in there and testing it out. Oh boy, entered some turbulence. Definitely a juicy flyby. You know what would make that flyby more juicy, Miss Jungles, is having that V1 livery. Patty Lover says, I have a new subscriber. Appreciate it, Patty. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. And let's set 3, what did we say the meter was? 3026. Might be getting time to crank up some of these internal lights here. Just make sure we've got them all the way up, just in case. But airplane is still doing good. We're back on profile. I don't know which engine to look at. Probably this engine because you can see a little bit of the spinner inside. Besides the Airbus McDo, do you have any other avionics suite you prefer to fly with? Proline 21 seems to pop up a lot. Well, it depends, man. In the sim or in real life? So in the sim, believe it or not, I think the less glass, the better. I like having round gauges in the sim. The Air 4 Labs King Air 350 is a good mix of glass and what they've got going on in there. But in real life, man, Proline 21, that's a pretty popular one. Was that? I can't even remember what the Embraers had. I think that was a Proline system, the Embraer, the 170s. Hey, man, in real life, though, the more glass, it's better situational awareness. I'm all for it. But in the sim, believe it or not, I prefer as much round gauge as possible. I think it... And that might have something to do with the fact that in real life, I'm in the Airbus with glass, and I think you lose a lot of your basic instrument scan. You lose a lot of that eye movement and monitoring your instruments, or at least the patterns, I should say, the patterns that you would monitor your instruments when you have a round gauge. And I think that's a very important skill to have, especially, you know, if you're in the Airbus and you have, you know, maybe a FMGC failure, a latch failure, or something that goes wrong where you now have to look at maybe a standby instrument, or your eyes aren't necessarily, they can't be in this one spot. I think it's good to keep that practice up of being able to scan all the way around the cockpit. Can idle thrust power start to move the 50, 60 ton 320 on level taxiway? Yes, it absolutely can. Depending on the load, definitely can, man. Especially if you're in Vegas going downhill. Thank you, Mike Razone. $5 donation, man. I appreciate this. Loving the content. Happy holidays. Mike, cheers to you. Thank you so much for that super chat, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the support here on the channel, man. I hope you have a very happy holiday season as well, man. And I hope you simmed through the 2020 pandemic. Exclamation point Rona if you want to check out some juicy new pandemic merch. I even have a face mask that says that. I simmed through the 2020 pandemic. Risky says, nice. I'm more of a Boeing person. I like the classic yoke over the control stick. I also like the looks and feel of the Boeing. Not gonna lie, man, Boeing has some really good looking airplanes. They do have some good looking airplanes, man. Alright, let's see what we're doing here. We're leveling off. Biley, 3000. We're gonna pick up the descent to Lizzie. She's flying this approach pretty handedly. She's doing a good job. We're 320 on the speed still. I think we're looking good. Do I use any visual mods? Yes, so in this current stream, we're looking at Fork Boy ortho photos. So that's where you see all of the terrain. And I'm using X Enviro. But that's it. So X Enviro and Fork Boy. Fork Boy is the ground textures. All the lighting and stuff is controlled by X Enviro. In my flight school, I have 7 G1000 172s, and I always end up flying the 6-pack and love it. An iPad before flight in a Stratus is all the glass I need. There you go, AJ. There you go, man. Matthew says, we all passing? And you guys must have a faster tailwind, or a higher tailwind than I do. I'm doing 320, man. We can't go faster than 320. Look at the bumps we're getting. Is a 330 cockpit almost identical to the 320? It's pretty close, man. The 330 has some, it's actually almost looks like it's got older technology behind it as far as their systems, but I think it may just be more redundancy. It is very similar, man. Very similar. The logic is very similar. Avion engine. There we go. Had to put it together there. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome, man. Party Lover says, wish you the best. I appreciate it. You're 15 nautical miles from Apple at 9,000. There's some turbulence. Christian, thanks for the report, man. Appreciate it. How much money is X Enviro? It's about, what, $67, $68? It's pretty expensive, man. I don't know if you're just joining us now, but like I said, I wouldn't run it with less than a 1070 graphics card. That's just my opinion. Right now I'm getting 24 FPS with X Enviro. If I turn it off, I guarantee you that's well into the 40s. So we may even have to shut it off here going into LaGuardia. We'll see what happens. All right, we're level at 13,000. Starting to pick up just a little bit of chop there still. How's our fuel looking? We got 4.6. Jeez, that's pretty low. Planning to land with 3.9 on board. What I do want to do, I forgot to do it here. We're going to hard tune LaGuardia. I want to hard tune the localizer. $110.5. See, we'll probably lose. There we go. Wanted to ILGA. See, the X Enviro is getting dicey. You can see that it almost wants to disconnect us there. If we get a disconnect message, we may have to disconnect X Enviro. Because I want to fly it smooth. I want to fly a smooth approach. But we're definitely picking up some chop. No lie. Do you think a 3070 is enough for X-Plane? Oh, I think so. I mean, I'm running a 1070 and it's Without X Enviro, it's fine. And I mean, even with X Enviro, I know if I wasn't streaming, I'd probably be doing a little bit better. See there, I'm back up to 31 FPS. So yeah, I'm sure 3070 is all right. All right, speed's coming back. Down to 10,000 at Beauty. Let's go ahead and let's clean up the box here. Let's go direct to Apple. Direct to Apple. Descend 8,000. Select speed 250. Speed descent down to Apple. Oh, that's a cool shot there. Other thing about X Enviro, you can't inject your own weather conditions. It's only live only. Yep. I have a love-hate relationship with that product. They also said don't expect Vulkan to improve frames when it does get updated to Vulkan. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it is very, very pretty. It can very well be a one-stop shop if you just want to run real-world weather and sky color. I mean, it changes everything for you. Very much a one-stop shop product, but you got to have the PC to run it for sure. Longest Airbus flight to date. You talking about in the sim? Well, we did that. I think the longest. Well, we did a 7-hour stream to London City, from New York to London City in a 319. That was probably the longest on stream. In real life, probably around that 6-hour mark there. Do you only play X-Men 11? Nope, I play FS 2020 as well, and I do have P3D, which we will be in probably on the next stream. Best ortho in your opinion? I prefer the Fork Boy because it's pretty easy done for you. I know V-States is very good as well. The only reason I don't have V-States is because I went down the Fork Boy rabbit hole before I even knew about V-States. But I know those are two very good options. Alright, 10-2, descending 8,000, 250 on the speed. We'll get our lights on here. Wing lights are coming on. Get those on. Look at that wing flex. I know, I think the wing flex tweaking that they did for the 321 is really good now. The 321 wing flex is pretty much spot on now, I think. New York, approach is online. Please do not respond. Contact me on 120.8. All right. So if we get problems with frames, we'll definitely disconnect, especially since we have a little ATC on. New York, good afternoon. American 133, we're 9,000, ascending 8,000. Currently present position, direct Apple. Can't hear him.
New York Center, good afternoon. At the 2045 with you. We are currently flight level 180.
120.8. 120.8. It's on. I called him.
And your arrival repeated. Your mic is muted. We can't hear you. United 2045. Can you copy?
What do you think is the perfect graphics card for X-Men 11? The best one, the best one you can afford, man. I'm a fan of future-proofing.
New York approach American 96 is level 10,000 direct trams.
If you can get something that you think may even be a little bit overkill, it's never going to be overkill. I don't think you can do overkill, especially in flight simulation, because technology is going to continue to improve.
Thank you very much. With you. Here, American 133 Squawk 1001, please.
Squawk Squawk 1001, American 133.
United 2045, Squawk 1002.
1002 in the box, 2045.
Thank you.
York approach, success 411 or 2111.
But yeah, if you can afford something that you think is even a little bit more than what you need, I think it's a good investment. Because that way, as technology progresses in the simulator, you'll be right there with it.
United 2045, ready to contact, let's see, 5 miles west.
In real life, I'd be flying over your home, Robinson. Awesome, dude.
Are you, did you have a preferred runway today?
3-1. Say 3-1.
United 2045, not really.
Oh, United 2045, you are a departure. Alright, gotcha.
Oh.
Ready to contact. Turn right direct Merritt, climbing to maintain 17,000.
Turn right direct Merritt, and flight level 250 United 2045.
United 2045, as you see that, you can expect flight level 210 as your final cruise for today.
No worries, flight level 210 United 2045.
New York, American 96, 10,000, direct runs.
American 96, New York, Low, Squawk 1004.
1004.
Frames are getting a
Here,
little
Charlie
dicey.
Sierra, can you just get your call sign for me, please?
That is success 4111.
Flight simulation though has been built with the hardware that doesn't exactly
Guardia,
exist
Airport
yet. I agree, man.
700. Did you have, were you already set up for an approach?
Oh, we were going for the localizer.
I've started cringing now when I hear "with you." Never bothered me
Here,
until
Charlie
you
Sierra,
started it.
4111, Roger.
That's awesome, man.
Heading
That's
expect
good.
31.
That's good. It should make you cringe,
My
man.
present heading
With you. You're not with anybody, man. The only
American
time
133, ready to contact about 10 miles southwest of the Newark Airport at 7,800. Descend and maintain 7,000, expect the Expressway visual runway 31 approach.
All right, descend to maintain 7,000. We'll expect the Expressway 31 for Unit American 133.
American 96, ready to contact 10 miles, correction, 15 miles north of the Robbinsville
Yeah, I'm gonna disconnect it.
Expect the Expressway visual runway 31 approach. The altimeter at LaGuardia is 3026.
All right, I turned X and Viro
We're
off.
gonna expect Expressway
Now look at my
31,
frames. Let's see where it goes. 25, 31, 32. I'll take that. I'll take 10 FPS there, easy.
2152.
Definitely not as good. I probably would have left it on if we didn't have ATC, but since we have ATC,
American 2152, New York approach.
we'll rock it with ATC.
1005.
So look at the difference. This is X-plane without X and Viro. So now with X and Viro off, our frames are in the 30s, going into New York with ortho and streaming, and yeah, I mean that's a pretty significant hit there. 10, solid 10, and I'm telling you, for me, it's even more than 10. And I can sometimes get 20 FPS hits with X and Viro.
Success 4111, expect vectors through the loop.
What do you think is the main difference between Boeing and Airbus besides the cockpit? Just the logic, man.
American 2152.
They both do the same thing, right? They're both airplanes. They both fly the same places. It's just different logic behind it. That's all.
Texan, please, American 2152.
American 2152, we're at a contact about 15 miles southwest of the Guardia Airport at 8,000. American 133, reduce speed to 210.
Slowing at 210, American 133. All right, coming back to 210 on the speed.
2045, squawk by Charlie.
We're in selected speed, so before we forget, let's go ahead and activate and approach, activate and confirm.
American 96, reduce speed to 210.
Coming back to
210,
210.
96.
American 96, descend and maintain 7,000.
7,000, 210, 96.
So that'll be below our extend speed there. So there's VFE. Let's go ahead and drop VFE minus 10. New York City starting to show up in the background. Flaps 1. That's still pretty juicy right there, not gonna lie. If I took a sip of scotch every time I heard with you and flying a Vatsim, I'd never complete a flight. I hear you, man. The V1 Army will never say with. You are not allowed to say with you if you're Air Bourbon. All right, so this guy's got me at 210, which is a spicy speed for sure. I don't know why I'm saying spicy all of a sudden. I don't know where I picked that up from. But it is a slippery speed. 210 here in a 321. Get ready for the Expressway visual.
Actually, let's make it a right turn heading 270.
Remember, we always, with that dials intersection, in real life, I'd have to look up our company manuals, but I'm pretty sure you're already supposed to be configured flaps 2 180 over dials. So we got to be flaps to
American 133,
180
turn left,
before
direct.
dials.
It's going to be...
Give me dials, give me dials. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got?
American 133, standby.
Oh, come on, man.
New York, American 49 Whiskey, descending to 5.545, direct up.
American 49 Whiskey, squawk 1006.
What's the squawk?
That's going to be 1006, please.
V1, the SpaceX Starlink Internet
4111, turn
satellite
right,
might be your answer in the
interceptable
future.
bus.
I might have to check that out, man.
280, interceptable advisor, successful.
Wow, look at this shot, though. Huh?
American 133, proceed direct with Guardia and report the twin white tanks in sight.
Roger, with direct with Guardia, and we got him in sight for American 133.
American 133, quit expressway visual runway through and approach. Traffic is 12 o'clock, 6 miles, northeast on A321 at 5,000. He's joining the sequence again.
Roger that. Clear expressway visual 3-1 for American 133. We're looking for the traffic.
American 96,
Alright, so,
maintain 2,500.
oh no, why are we losing?
2,500, American 96.
Success 4111, you are 3 miles from Queen, maintain 2,000 until established.
What? Oh. Seriously? Should I reconnect? Am I allowed to reconnect? Uh-oh.
4111.
I went off the blip there. Alright, auto
American 2152, turn left, heading 220.
flaps 2. Actually, I don't know why I did that. Autopilot on. 2,000. Open descent. Down we go.
United 822 New Cabro Tulo, squawk 1007. American 49 Whiskey, ready to contact 10
That
miles
is cool.
southwest
Statue of
New York
Liberty
Airport
right
at
there.
5,100.
That is juicy,
Speed to
man.
180, descend to maintain 5,000. Expect the expressway visual runway through and approach, still altimeter 3026.
That is some juice right there. Hit the like button for the Statue of Liberty, the NEO, and literally, guys, here's the
American
Brooklyn
49,
Bridge, my sister's
American
apartment.
49 Whiskey, expect the ILS force.
Apartment complex is, actually, wait, no, is that the Brooklyn Bridge?
United 822, ready to contact, you are 25 miles
I
southwest
think it's
of
like
New York
right
Airport
here.
at
Literally, her
12,500.
apartment is right here
Speed to
somewhere.
180, then descend to maintain
Brooklyn Heights.
8,000. Expect the expressway visual runway through and
Look
approach, still
at
altimeter
that shot.
3026.
We're probably going to be high and fast and totally blow this approach, but this is worth it right here. Look at this. Screenshot.
United 2045, contact Boston Center 134.7, good day.
Over to Boston Center at 2045. Thank you very much for the control,
Gosh,
sir.
I just
Good
want to
night.
look at
Good
that.
evening.
Good day.
Frames are
American
going
49
down.
Whiskey, reduce speed to 180.
All right, here we go. We got to take over manually.
Reducing speed 180.
We're going to manage
American
the
96,
speed.
reduce speed to 180.
Gear down.
180, American 96.
I'm probably going to get
Success,
disconnected again. For some
4111,
reason,
maintain
looking
180
at
knots to Fabry. Stand by. Oh, sorry about that.
looking at it, it's killing me.
knots.
Autopilot's coming off. Give me the bird.
180.
Flight director's off.
2,500.
American 133, the wind is 360 at 11, runway 31.
Dang. I'm sorry, man. I don't know why my sim is doing that. It's looking at LaGuardia here. But we got the expressway. That sucks. X-Pilot can... Sucky. Alright, VFNX flaps full. Arm it. There's 2,500 or above.
2,000.
We'll do auto brakes medium. Cabin checked. Armed. There's the expressway in front of us. Man, if you're watching the stream, Mr. Air Traffic Controller, sorry, dude. You're doing a good job. But there we go. We're on the expressway out to City Field. We'll keep trickling down now. Watch that descent right there, getting a little bit too much. Miss Jungle says that makes me want to go back to New York City. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we were descending a little bit fast there. We'll level it off a little bit. We're over the expressway. Look at this shot here. This approach may not be all that good, but I mean, come on, look at that. I guess we have replay mode that I can check. That is just too cool. Okay, let's try to at least fly the approach semi-professionally here. Keep trickling down with 1,400 feet here. Want to be right on 1,200-ish as you make that turn.
1,000.
I don't really see City Field, unless I think that's supposed to be City Field. I think I see what's supposed to be the field. There we go. Let's keep on trickling. There's the Meadows Park. We're definitely a little bit further right. City field should be somewhere off the left there. Let's shallow out that descent. Would love to have my track IR on right now. Now the rollout is you don't want to, you should be rolling out pretty much wings level right over the shoreline of this little piece of land over here. I don't know what part of New York this is.
500.
Essentially like right over here.
400.
At least we got replay mode, so I'm not too worried about the views. We'll check the views out here in replay.
300.
Might be a little high here. I'm a little high. Keep coming down. Well, actually right on it. 2 whites, 2 reds.
200.
Man, I cut that turn in tight. That would be an ASAP probably. All right, we got 2 whites, 2 reds. Let's put her down.
50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. Retard. 10. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. D-cell 104 on the landing, 48 feet above. But that was, man, we saved it. We pulled one out there. 48 feet over the threshold, 6 feet from center line. Stow it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LaGuardia. Wow. I'll take that landing. A 104. That is a butter. That is a butter. Put that off, put that off, put the wing lights off. Welcome. Turn the strobes off. Let's clean it up. 48 feet over the threshold, 6 feet from center line, so we could have improved that, but I will take a 104 on touchdown. VLS 137, 136, so we were on it. But just that center line there, I really cut it tight on the corner. Look at that shot. Freedom Tower, Empire State Building. Jeez. I'm probably taxiing over all the taxi lines here, but I just want to take a moment and take in that skyline. Wow. XP72, what's up, man? Welcome. He says, perfectly done, Skipper. XP, appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir. Welcome. All right, let's just do a quick little park job. You know what? We're not even going to start the AP. We'll just connect ground power. And I want to check this replay out. Charlie 11 sounds good enough to me. There we go. Jeez. Button manipulation. All right, there's my marshaller. Dustin says cranking and bacon. Yeah, I'll show you. We'll analyze that approach, but I got a little shallow there in that turn, and then I never corrected, and I mean we'd be getting a little bit tense in the real airplane there on that turn in. That was pretty low to the ground. Brake set. Need external power. Where is it? There we go. External power is on. Engine 2. Engine 1. Listen to the spool down New York in the background. Aaron Hastings says that approach was sweet. Appreciate it, man. All right. Nice spool down here of those CFM leaps. Whoo yeah. Let me complete my Sim Toolkit Pro flight. Current flight, complete flight, okay. Get rid of you. And we're going to throw you guys into replay mode. And we are disconnected from Vatsim because unfortunately we got disconnected from the get-go there. So let's do a replay here. Ah, this is a good spot. Let's watch it from the I don't know if I should watch from there or here. Look at that. So I was off. I definitely was off on that turn here. I turned a little early, and then I was like, okay, well, I turned early, so look how shallow my bank is. And that overall, like as far as real world goes, that was a pretty poor approach. That was pretty poor. That probably would have been a go-around in real life, just because of the low-level bank there. 500 feet, you really don't want to be cranking that hard. 200, you definitely want to be wings level. So we'll take a look at it here when we level out. We'll see if we are, in fact, 200. You know what? I might have been over the wrong freeway. I should have been coming in over here, shouldn't I? No? All right, let's take a look at the Toliss. Oh, this is what's cool about Toliss here. So we're cranking. We're 500. 200 feet. So now we're under 200 feet. And we're still cranking. So this is, if you guys want to work on this approach, ideally you want to be rolling wings level right now. When you hit that 200 foot mark, you really want to be rolling wings level. You could see I've just undercut it, and that's partially because I was too far wide. I was too wide on my initial turn, and then I was too shallow on my initial bank. So then I ended up trying to stretch it, and then I realized that I stretched it too far, and now we are unstable here. This would be, oh man, this would be pretty close. I would not be surprised if captains in real life would say go around at this point right here. Whether if it's me flying or if there's a pilot FO flying, this position right here is more than likely. It's tough at go around. It would just kind of depend, and it would depend, of course, on your company op specs as well. But let's see it come down. That was a pretty juicy touchdown. 100 foot on there. Adam updated the AAL Livery. It's in Discord. Awesome. We'll have to check it out, man. .106 on that. Look at that. 50 feet above threshold. Ooh, buddy. All right, let's back it up. We're just going to see the touchdown from this view. I want to see the animation here. Look at that bank to keep the wing down there on that turn. Good reverser actually on here. This is pretty good looking. This is my first time actually testing the leaps out, so this is all kind of new to me. Now, of course, one more shot from behind the wing here. I like seeing this turn in right here. Man, that's pretty close to the water. Look at the sun reflection. It's go around unless it's the last flight of the day. Fubar. I'm not even going to acknowledge that comment, but yeah, probably. Wow. All right, let's watch some outside views. Let's watch a runway view coming in over here. Oh, yeah. See, right about now, I should be rolling level. It's so close. It's so close to being unstable. I mean, I was wings level at 100 feet probably. Weird kick out to the right. I don't know if there was a gust of wind. What happened there? Why was there that huge kick out to the right? So we're coming in. I guess it's just a little weather vane there, so you could see that I don't know if there was a gust of wind. It must have been a gust of wind. So watch this as we come down. This is so cool about replay mode. So we're coming in. Everything's pretty stable. Wind picks up. There's a wind gust, and it weather vanes the airplane into the wind. Here's our weather vane. And then should see an aileron correction. Yep, a little bit of aileron correction there. Definitely a little bit side loaded here on touchdown. Oof. But man, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. Let's see. You know what? I didn't even think to check where we touched down at. Where did we touch down at? There's our touchdown. So we're still in the zone, definitely, but we're getting thin there. That's still pretty good. I'll take that. We touched down, so we actually were, yeah, a little bit side load, a little bit off center line there. But hey, man, I'll take it. I will take that for that approach into the Guardia. Given news as the approach to my hometown does that 180 turn, very excited. Especially when on our last flight of the day. sure, man, for sure. All right, guys. Well, I hope you're enjoying your 321 NEOs, your 321 CEOs, if you're just flying your standard Airbus. Thank you all for joining me today on stream as we did our flight into LaGuardia. Sorry for the controllers there that we didn't quite have our ATC all the way down. That's just my rig running New York and streaming and X Enviro. But until next time, guys, I hope you stay safe, stay healthy. I'm V1. See ya.